Hello and welcome back to Explorers of Elsewhere's Elysia Rising campaign. Hi, I am DM Dan, and I'm joined by the wondrous Julia, Errol, JC, and Nate. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, there's enough highs. Hello. Unfortunately, we are down a Meg, but we will play on with her in our minds and our thoughts. Because we need to return to you lot, you troublesome lot, because you have just done a very ambitious and daring score. You have done some spelunking.
Score, I think you'll find.
Yes, very, very successful. You did some D&D in our BITD, so we're crossing the streams. But yeah, it went well. You went in, you faced some problems, you made those problems face each other, you profited, job done. Bish bash bosh. But yeah, I think you lot deserve a good old downtime looking at ye old stress bars. So with that in mind, shall we jump on in?
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Marvelous.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Frida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an Asavar spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
2 years ago, Elysia was subject to one of the greatest tragedies in her long existence. In the world-changing turmoil of the eschaton, the city was wrenched from the ground by magical forces and jettisoned into the alien vacuum of the void, before a legion of soul-devouring spirits descended and began feasting. Only with the timely intervention of the appearance of the veil that surrounds the city did any live to see beyond those dark hours, the survivors forever haunted by the ghastly visages that claw and bite at the shimmering amethyst ward that keeps them at bay. Elysians are now bound together by a fear of the spirit, knowing them as foul, single-mindedly evil creatures that want for nothing more than the souls of the living. For our crew, however, the validity of this truth has been tested. If such foundational truths can be challenged, it remains to be seen what happens if it is found to be a lie. And so, who is taking the magical artifact that you have procured from Castle Antolyr back to Nephene?
Probably Magpie would do that, and maybe does Cavern.
Yeah. Unless
Well,
Algernon is
actually-
very eager to come along.
Is Algernon?
Yeah, I think Algie kind of regrets not meeting her
Yeah. Okay.
face to face before.
So let's all of us go.
Yeah, come on, Atta. Join
Come on,
us.
Atta.
Yeah, there's no mysterious invitation now, like this is our terms.
Yeah.
I am excited to see what's in the box.
With when you as you're leaving Castle Antolyr, you're heading, presumably with pace, through the ivory. A Magpie, you spot a familiar looking silhouette stood at on the roof of Cadwallader Manor, watching you approach.
Mm-hmm.
The silhouette is dark, bar from the reflective shimmer of a silver corvid mask. And as the other three, or as the other four of you, Frida included, notice Magpie's attention, you watch as this figure seemingly takes a step off the roof, and as it plunges to the ground, it disappears in a puff of shadowy smoke and appears like in front of the manor house. As you approach Magpie, you notice that the Raven is holding a small letter, and he hands it to you. It's just like a folded parchment, and as you open it, there are instructions. So it says, in the same kind of very elegant cursive writing that the original letter was written in. Congratulations are to be had. Please state your preferred location for our next meeting. Signed, N.
Ooh. What do you think, guys? Where shall we ask to meet? Should we bring it to the Spectre?
Yeah, she can meet Juicy.
Who?
The barmaid, Juicy.
The barmaid.
You know.
Stella.
Oh.
Juicy Stella.
The public bartender, not the secret one.
Yeah. Do you wanna take a rendezvous at the Spectre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, as you kind of write your instructions and your time on the letter, the Raven takes the parchment back from you, nods, and then sort of like looking to you one in turn, and you're like affixing you with the sort of like amethyst ruby lenses of his kind of raven mask. It's like he's regarding you each in turn before the figure disappears.
Bloody show off.
Have you got enough time to check to do it? Is there any checks you want to do before the rendezvous, or do you want to just kind of head straight there?
I was going to say, do we want to drop off what we got at
Drop off our
Cadwallader
own
Manor?
loot?
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's anything we want to take to the Spectre, because that's business HQ. There, if there's a
Yeah,
safe
because we
secure
want to check
thing.
it first, don't we?
Yeah, fair enough.
What we got.
We also need to secure Musto's magic orb. Yeah. We don't want to accidentally lose Musto's orb.
Who from memory remembers how much loot they gathered? Like how many loads worth of loot?
I got one load.
I got the crown and one load.
I got one load and the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got a load as well, because I've got a note that Magpie, Cavern, and Frida all. Atom has clearly got one as well.
I could fit one load in because I was heavy.
Yeah. I mean, reasonably speaking, it was a bit of a supermarket sweep down there. So we'll call it 4 loot that you've got plus the crown that Cavern snatched. So the crown of House Antolyr. Cool. Okay, so are you dropping off your loot? Are you keeping Musto's orb, well, like Songbird's orb at home for the meantime? Okay. Would Atta like to do any investigation on this orb before you head out?
Must the orb did one of our first jobs was retrieving this orb, was it not?
The orb, yes, but the arcane
Crystal
kind of
box.
cube that you got from for Nephene.
Well, I guess Atta kind of gently vibrating, just looks to the rest of the group for like approval. Do you want me to, see if I can do any? Okay, yeah.
Try not to damage it or do anything that would signal to Nephene that we've messed with it. Okay. She's got me by the balls, rather.
So, Atta, given that you are currently soul drained, so you will be operating at -1 dice. Does anyone want to help with the assessment of cube?
Assessment of cube. One stress to help, is it?
Be 1 stress to help.
I can help.
Yeah.
My balls are on the line.
You could help by making sure Atta doesn't blow it up.
Yeah, I'm just like hanging over you.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
What's this? What are you doing with that? What is that?
Maybe don't touch that.
It's like how in a driving exam, if you like recite everything that you're doing as you're doing it, it to show your method. Atta, do you accept the help? The 3 dice?
I will gladly accept the help.
No, I
Okay. In which case that counteracts your soul draininess. So please go ahead and roll me a. You've got a bit of time, so let's say a controlled standard to begin.
Okay. It would be too stressed to push myself, wouldn't it?
It would. Says ye with 3 available stress.
Yeah, but everyone's getting trauma. I feel left out.
One person has got trauma.
One person has got trauma. Look, I just want my character to much more love. I will absolutely push myself for.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I
Up to that spicy 8 of 9.
I feel like 3 dice is pretty good, so I'm trying to decide between 1 more dice and a great effect. A great effect would be nice.
Okay. So 3 dice.
My dice have been really awful. Like, no, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna try for a great, and I'm gonna roll the.
Okay. 3 dice, controlled greater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has it got a lock on the box? Is it like?
So it fundamentally, just to kind of merge our nerd streams, it kind of looks like the Tesseract from the Marvel films. So like, but about 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, and it's kind of more translucent with kind of gold banding around the edges. So as you begin interacting with it, you are able to. What is it you're looking to find out? Effectively, this is almost like a gather information, but
Okay. So if I know we kind of mix D&D terms a little bit here, but I suppose like it was described as an arcane focus. Like what manner of magic? Like I'm pretty sure we figure it's arcane magic, but if there's a school,
this thrums with evocation magic.
Yeah, I was worried about that. Okay.
And off the back of, so we'll do reduced effect. So effectively, you'll get a standard effects worth of information. So it's evocation, and there's a lot of it.
Okay. So I was surprised when I looked up like cure wounds as an evocation at a school. I think some of the healing spells are evocation, which is funny. in vanilla D&D. I guess, like, from Atta's point of view, is it Veil connected? Ghost connected?
Interestingly, because this will be like the follow-up question. Interestingly, it doesn't resonate with the same kind of inverted commas frequencies as the veil, or the spirits outside the veil. It's a very raw evocation manner. It's the sort of arcane manner that the faith would warn you against. Like, it's coruscating, it's ever-changing, it's tumultuous, and there's a lot of it. So Nephene wasn't wrong to say that this is a focus, because it just seems to have gathered a lot of thrum.
Any other question ideas or curiosities from the gang?
Is there any way we can duplicate it?
I'm gonna go ahead and say, Atta, you realise probably not, simply because of like the volume of arcane mana contained within it. Like, amongst the lot of you have dabbled with arcane items, like you've used magic items, but they're like relatively small fry in comparison to this. So
it's like a fusion core, right? Like
fundamentally, yeah. Like it seems to be storing a lot of energy. You're unable to assess what it's for. You just understand what it is, which is a big reservoir of mana. So, with that in mind, all four of you taking this to Nephene?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, when you descend the stairs down into the Spectre, like you descend down those kind of half spiral turn steep stairs, you find you're immediately greeted by the welcome and familiar face of Eric, who looks quite happy. Like, he looks surprisingly happy. And like, as you descend down the stairs, he like looks at you, gives you a little wave, and then sort of like rolls his head over to the booth that you normally occupy. You recognize Nephene with a hood obscuring the majority of her face, sat next to Magpie. You would recognize him as the patriarch of one of the other noble houses, Algernon. You probably know of him as well, like an Ace of our man. You notice that like, as you sit down, you like glancing at the elderly gentleman sat next to Nephene, you notice that as he looks at you, his eyes almost seem to have a quiver to them. Like there's a quivering of the iris, and like, bold emerald green eyes looking at you, but there's something slightly off about them. I trust everything went well. Nephene begins.
Yeah, I mean, it all went splendidly. Absolutely. Have you met my colleagues? And I gesture to Algernon and Atta.
Nephene like the hooded figure kind of covering the top, like effectively down to the bottom of her nose, like turns to each of you, the two of you, the two newcomers. We haven't been formally introduced, but your reputation precedes you. It is good to finally meet you, Master Cadwallader.
I thought it'd be fair to see eye to eye.
There's a tilt of the head from Nephene as, yeah, quite clearly you're not seeing quite eye to eye as you might, but and then she sort of looks to you, Atta, and I've been very much looking forward to meeting you. I hear you have accomplished great things within the past few weeks.
Only with the help of my crew.
There's a wry kind of smirk from under the hood, and then the attention turns back to you, Magpie. So, you managed to procure that with which I asked?
Indeed. And I don't know who's holding it. Probably Atta.
Okay. So how have you transported it? Because presumably you weren't carrying a glowing crystal cube through the town. In a chest, in a
It's like a sort of a box
Big
that could...
sack.
I was going to say like a wooden crate that looks like it could be carrying mushrooms or any other kind of mundane cargo. And then and then we just tap away at it and it falls apart all four sides.
Okay. In which case, as it does, the soft glow that's emanating off the cube kind of illuminates the table. And the elderly Asavar sat next to Nephene kind of leans forward and then places what looks to be a monocle, but you notice that the lens is kind of faceted like very much like a carved diamond, and begins to kind of inspect it, and he's sort of like mumbling under his breath to himself, and you notice that as he leans forward, and his face is shone by the lit up by the cube, the colour of his eyes seemingly shifts to a more blood reddish hue, and then as he sits back and kind of gives Nephene a nod, they revert back to a bright emerald green. This has been something that we've been searching for some considerable time, and you have done it in the space of an afternoon. We applaud you. It's a shame we can't let your family know of your achievements, he says, looking at you, Magpie.
I think the less they know, the better, frankly. They've never been particularly interested in my work.
Perhaps it's because they don't know what what your line of work can afford them. But if your family decides to embrace the finer aspects of life with which we are afforded, there will be a seat for you at the table.
And she just sort of nods at him a bit uncomfortably.
Nephene then sort of like reaches under the table and says, given the importance of this artifact, and Algernon, you watch as she sort of like taps the bit of the box that makes it like connect back up, and just like she just seems to know where to tap it to make that happen. Given its importance, we would not. We are more than happy to pay you a fair fee. And she places a satchel with 8 coin on the table. I trust that any obstacles that presented themselves during your adventures have been dealt with. It would not do for you to have anyone who knows of your involvement with Castle Antolyr.
Look at the others.
I find that an obstacle in the present can sometimes be an opportunity in the future. Speaking of which, we were promised some sort of favor from the lodge. Is that still on the table?
Nefne smiles. Why, of course. Is it a favor you wish to cash in now? Or for later?
This box is an arcane focus of incredible power. Whatever spell you are wishing to focus it upon, I would want to be involved. We haven't been doing this smuggling job for applause, Lady Valenmar. There is an end goal to all this, one which I believe will restore Elysia to its place in the world. Arcane magic is the key. I've long believed it, and I think you share the same sentiment.
There's a pause, and you notice the elderly gentleman sort of like sits up straight at that, and like side glances at Nefne, whose head is lowered, and you see her sort of like running her thumb over the ring on her finger, on one of her fingers, just like sliding her. What you notice to be an arm-length glove, round a signet ring she wears on her other hand. And then she pulls her hood back to reveal her face and her vibrantly red Ace of Heart eyes. I am more than happy to offer patronage to those who have been scorned by the dragons. And if your faith in Elysia is as strong as ours, we would be more than happy to offer you, to accept your assistance in what is to come. She smiles. It is surprising. I had the Cadwallader family pegged as divine worshippers. It would seem that perhaps sometimes the apple does fall away from the tree.
I'm not my family, Lady Valenmar. My parents died when I was 13. And it was a turning point in my life. For the positive.
She nods. Yes. It must have been very hard for you. For you both, actually.
For us both.
Nefene looks to you, and there's a flicker of confusion across her face. She frowns slightly. She takes a breath, and you can see that she's trying, like she's crunching something in her head, like she's turning something over. Huh, she says. Thank you once again for your assistance. We will be in touch. and with that, they begin to slowly shuffle out of the cubicle, taking the crate with them. So you are equipped with 8 more coin than you previously were. I think it is time for some downtime. Just gonna roll straight on.
Is it?
So, payoff. You have been paid your coin. 8 coin for a big score with some serious loot. So, for the crew and your rep, you are currently at 4 of 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 of 11. So, the crew earns 3 rep because of your leverage ability. If the target of the score is higher than you, take 1 rep per tier higher. Now, I'm going to argue. That the defenses et al. Of Castle Antolyr and all the challenges, like you went up against Dorothea and so on and so forth. So I'm going to argue that is a tier 4 encounter that you went through, and you didn't really see a reduction in dice because Magpie was picking all the locks, but that's a difference of 3, so you're up to 6 rep. And that it people know about it, so you will get the rep. So that's it. So 6 rep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to take you to 10 of 11. So very nearly up to tier 2 if you can stockpile the money to pay for it. Cool. So that is the payoff. So next up is leveling up. So I can quickly go around the houses and say that Frida gets a point in prowess for a desperate wreck. Atta gets 1 in insight for a desperate hunt. Algie gets a point in resolve for a desperate command, and Magpie did 2 desperate tinkers. One was under threat of imminent death by Golem, so that's 2 in prowess as well.
Tinker's insight. I'd prefer
insight.
it in prowess, but
yes, insight. So I'll pop in Frida's wreck. So 1 there. But we'll start with Catherine. So let's have a look at your XP. Did you do things in a very Catherine manner? In a very duplicitous social way?
I tried to I did try and distract this other crew that turned up.
You flattered. You flattered. Call it what it is.
I think that was it, really. I think that was it, sort of like as sort of deception and influence. I think, unless there was
there weren't that many people to deceive and influence, but boy, did you go at it when we found some people.
Surely, no. I think I only did it once. I only really did it that once. I can't remember if I did anything in the build-up to it, but I think that was the only real thing I did as part of deception and influence.
Sure. Okay, so we'll call that 1. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or backgrounds? I'm going to say at least 1 for confronting Dorothea.
Yes.
The 10th hour.
Could I also have 2 for speaking Draconic?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, you did multiple things. Okay, so we'll call that 2. Did you struggle with issues from your vital trauma?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, can me being a bit flirty count as 1?
Sleeping with the enemy.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Okay, so that sounds like 4 XP for Catherine.
Wee.
Marvelous. Algernon, did you do any playbook specific things?
Calculation and conspiracy, I reckon so. I was cooking up some kind of conspiracy with Musto to get
Yes.
him to steal from his boss, and also confronting the Pope of Elysia.
Oh, yeah, you went to Lucragi, didn't you? Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll call that too. Did you express your belief, drives, heritage, or background?
Yeah, I think I sort of dug into the High Priestess a little bit about her prejudice towards Sangrevar.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, that was a very, very easy to listen to conversation. I'll give you that. So that's one. Any more for a second?
I don't recall, but there is.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, I mean, there's the whole link with an Ace of our house, right? And us trying to figure out the puzzle, and the sort of remembering the motto of House Antolyr and all that, using that knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm using that for an XP, so.
Okay. I'll be generous. I'll be generous because it was a big mission. So 4. Did you struggle with issues from your vital trauma? I think it was pretty plain sailing for Algernon. Sat at home in his slippers with a cup of tea.
He's got a bit of a hangover, a bit of withdrawal starting, but nothing to put a spanner in the works yet.
Sure. In which case, 4 for Algernon. Okay, so 4 XP. And next, Atta. Did you do any playbook-specific things?
Was I ooky spooky? I was a little bit.
Ookie
Yeah,
dookie.
take Suki Dookie Spooky.
I put down my Ghostbuster orbs at the beginning to try and
Yes.
try and get us away from the ghosts a little bit better. I phased through Bubble when it was like, oh no.
Also, you tried to see if you could control the golem. Didn't pan out, but the attempt was there.
The attempt was... I did indeed make the attempt to control the golem, and then the only other thing I wrote down was operating the library cube.
Yeah, okay. We'll call that multiple, so that's 2. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I was pretty adamant I wanted to get those books about tarot and the golem, but I guess I didn't I wasn't reckless about it. I didn't, risk anyone about it. So
Well, this is just an expression, so it doesn't have to necessarily be. I mean, I guess you helped. Like your fascination with Bubble is kind of what let everyone fall back through the veil to get back into safety. So I'm going to call that at least 1. And actually, because I'm feeling generous, I'm going to throw in a 4th because your background literally appeared.
it did. I didn't get to talk to Alejandro very much other than try and help him, but
Might have been for the best, to be fair. But
might have been for the best. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll call that 4. And did you struggle with issues from your vital trauma?
I think I was okay this time. I think I was alright. I didn't.
Well,
I don't
you
think I
didn't.
struggled.
You had a moment when the ghosts were bearing down on you, right? Like the fascination turned to fear.
Was that when I was looking for somebody particular in the ghosts, or when we were being chased?
I do remember you saying that. So it sounds like a 1. So a whole 5 XP for Atta.
Gosh.
Okay. Okay, and next up is Magpie.
Hello.
So, playbook specific XP triggers.
I did quite a lot of playbook specific stuff I prowled about. I picked lots of locks. I deliberately ran around to lure a golem with my speed and evasiveness.
You did a sneaky sneak in the dungeon crawl. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to say that's 2.
Thank
did
you.
you express your beliefs, drives, or heritage, or background?
I believe I did, because there was the whole noble Ace of our connection to House Antolyr and sort of trying to the puzzle, which was all about their kind of motto and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know how far back we go for this XP, if my meeting with Nefene counts.
Yeah, I would argue it does, yes.
Yeah. So I think the fact that I have been strong-armed through slightly,
Sure, I guess the whole thing was a
coerced
result of blackmail from your background.
the blackmail thing, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And did you struggle with your issues of vital trauma?
I don't know that I did. I mean, besides, I more struggled with my background, given that I was being blackmailed. So,
Sure.
But yeah, I would like to argue for an extra XP for that triple crit I got on my lockpick. Because how often is that going to happen in a campaign?
And
I did it so good, my lockpicks didn't break when they were supposed
and
to.
that's where this one comes from. This XP comes from.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say four for that.
Okay.
Because the super crit would have been the second XP for the playbook trigger. Okay, cool. So with those XPs in mind, so 4, 4, 4, 5, 4. Does that sound about right? Going from top to bottom. Have any of you got any upgrades that you have achieved? Caveron's got an upgrade. What's Caveron upgrading?
I'm upgrading one of my special abilities. Because I filled my abilities tracker.
Amazing.
Okay, and what new ability are you going for?
My new ability that I'm going for is called Like Looking in a Mirror. And this means I can always tell when someone is lying to me.
Ah, please remind me every time I say anything.
I will. Oh, I will.
Okay, so Caveron is now a walking lie detector machine.
Ooh.
So that's Caveron. Is anyone else with an ability?
Mhm.
Ooh, Algernon. What's Algernon getting?
I have maxed out my resolve track again, and I've got another pip in command.
Ooh, okay, so
In
that's...
case I need to threaten any more senior religious figures.
Okay, so that takes you up to 2 command. Okay, very, very good.
I have also maxed out my resolve, so I need to.
Flooding in.
So I need to figure out what I'm putting it in,
Okay.
because there's a part of me that kind of wants to put it maybe in command, because she's sort of a noble background, it might be quite used to ordering people about, or imitating other nobles she's seen ordering people about.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know if something like consort or sway would be more helpful for the campaign. So what do people think?
What am I thinking? Command, consort, sway, or attune?
No. I've got other people to attune for me.
I mean, I can't remember how much sway has Algernon got, JC?
I've only got one in sway.
Okay.
I've also got one in sway.
And Frieda's also got one in sway.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 3 in sway.
Yeah. So either
Okay.
consort or command, basically.
Because have you got anything in sway? at the moment?
Consorting is particularly useful for like gathering information.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So Frieda's got 2 consort, 2 command, and 1 sway.
Blimey. Everyone's got
Same
these
as me.
covered. I just happen to have my bar
You
full.
never
so
know
I
when you're
thought-
going to be on your own.
Exactly. You never know when you're
Mhm.
going to be on your own and have to... Like, I can imagine the types of situations Magpie's most likely to need sort of charisma type skills is, you know, she's just been cornered prowling around in an alley or a house or something, and the guard's all like, "Oi, what are you doing here?" And she has to be able to think on her feet and say, "Oh, I was just looking for the bathroom," or whatever. Like, what skill's that?
I think like if you want to change someone's mind, it's like sway.
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Consort is schmoozing.
Oh, I'm not a
command.
schmoozer.
Command's closer to like an intimidation type.
Yeah, I think maybe. See, I would quite like it to be in a different one to sway, because then I get two dice instead of one for my
I mean, if
rolls.
I guess you could put it in consort. So I could argue for consort, because if you're going out and doing sneaky sneaks, but you could also be speaking to people in the shadows to get some information.
Yes.
Or you can become more like your mother and put Pip in command.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. One or
to yell at the yokels.
I'll have a little think.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
But everyone wants to become more like their mother.
It's inevitable. Give in to it.
I saw some frantic eye movements from Errol. Has Atta got an upgrade?
Maybe y'all can help me. I think I'm stuck between two. I'm thinking Ghost Mind is pretty good, because when I take an extra one dice whenever I gather information about supernatural by any means. So that's to any of the kind of skills that I might use to...
So Atta's got a new ability upgrade?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So Atta ability. So sorry, Ghost Mind.
It's either Ghost Mind or Compel, which means that if I attune, I can ask a ghost to do a task for me. So, a nearby ghost can appear before you and obey an order you give it. You are not terrified by the ghost, but my allies might be. So, I feel like it's important for you all to know if I'm deciding to summon ghosts to do, or the third one is I could just do lightning bolts from the sky. That one's quite fun, but I don't know how useful it is. I feel
you could just end up having Tavarien as like your little like.
I feel like the ghost one might be quite good for what we have planned, especially if we're doing like infiltration and subterfuge. Like a ghost might be able to collect the key, might be able to tell us where doors are, scout out a certain area. Yeah, scare people away. Maybe we'll go Compel.
Okay. So you have Compel.
Ghost friends. Yay.
Guys, I know you don't like ghosts, but what if?
What if ghost? Okay, what's Magpie going for?
Consort. I think I like the idea of the command thing, because she's tried it before, but I also love the idea she's just crap at it. She wants to emulate what she sees other people doing, but she can't. She just can't do it. And actually, her goals are more around becoming somebody who, a bit like Tavarien, who kind of brings the city together rather than ordering people.
Okay, so we've got one upgrade on everyone, and potentially Frida, but we'll find out from Meg in a future episode. Cool. Okay, so that is the PC advancement. So next is the crew advancements. So, your crew-specific XP trigger. So did you execute a smuggling operation or acquire new clients or contraband sources? I'm going to say you did a smuggle, and it was for new clients, because it was for the lodge. So I'm going to call that 2. Did you contend with challenges above your station? Yes. I'm going to argue twice for 2 XP, because not only did you tackle the defences of Castle Antolyr, you also went up against the children of Aya, fundamentally, and the golem, and all that stuff. Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one? You know what? I mean, you did. You very much did, because you are now known to be daring. But there's daring breaking into Castle Antolyr through the front door. There's also daring breaking into Castle Antolyr through the back door via the Deathlands. So we're going to say 2 for that. Did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? Did anything happen that highlighted the specific elements that make your crew unique? I'm going to say 1 for that. So I think, yeah, you were specifically targeted by the lodge to do this job. So with that in mind, we've got 7 XP. So that takes us up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 of 10 XP for the crew. So very close to leveling that up as well. Cool. They're after you.
With that in mind, let's pull up heat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes, in fact, yeah. Heated incarceration. So, it was contained, which is 2 heat, until the children turned up. And then it became loud and chaotic. 4 heat. Add 1 heat for a high profile or well connected target. 5.
No one's there. Empty house,
Add 1
innit?
heat if the situation happened on hostile turf.
Neutral. In the void. Totally neutral. No one's there.
Add 1 heat if you're at war with another faction.
Nope.
Add 2 heat if killing was involved, whether the crew
Not
did the killing
directly.
or not.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But Dan does.
Oh, no, stop it.
Not Alejandro.
Alejandro.
That is 7 heat.
No, it's not. You miscalculated, I'm sure of it.
And that
No, it doesn't.
takes you
Nope.
to wanted level 2.
Stop it. Absolute nonsense. All we did was
went to the
break
library.
into an abandoned house. We went to the library, Dan. You're saying that takes us up to wanted level 2?
We stole no heirlooms that were important at all.
No one knows they're
No
dead.
one knows. Exactly. No one knows they're dead. Apart from the one campaign crucial NPC who probably survived.
Yeah, you're fine. Entanglements.
Oh.
So you're down to 2 heat, wanted level 2.
Cool.
Okay.
It's that face that's always frightening. It's definitely this time we all get ice cream.
I want ice cream. We all have a beach day.
We all have a beach episode.
An Alejandro entanglement.
Mushroom flavoured
Yes.
ice cream on the beach.
Yeah. Mushroom mojitos.
The reason
all
Dan's
round.
making that face is he just rolled everyone dies. That's the entanglement.
I have an entanglement.
Mm-hmm. Look, you're making JC sad. Look.
Okay. Let's actually you know what? We're not going to start the downtime.
We're not?
Atta,
Yeah.
where do you go after the handoff at the Spectre? Fundamentally, where would you be going for your first downtime activity?
Oh. After the handoff at the Spectre, there's a few downtime activities. The one that I feel like is outside of Cadwallader Manor that is feeling more pressing is her injury. So I feel like the people that she might go to in order to try and heal is either going to be the Ilnashi, of which she doesn't know, but anything. They're our best friends. Or I don't think Grandma or like Asma Nanny Asma can really help with this. I think it has to be more intense. I think... Would Atta go to the Hollow? I don't think Atta wants to go back to the Hollow.
Okay. So Elysia?
Can I roll a dice to make a decision? Because I think
Sure.
that Atta's actually... She's probably, like, spinning around, like, at a crossroads right now to not... She doesn't know which direction, to the Hollow or to the Elysia.
So hang on, is it a 50-50?
Yeah, I'm just going to roll a D... Or you roll a... Yeah.
Yeah, okay, tell you what, we'll do that. Roll D6.
Okay, 1 to 6. 1 to 3 was the Elysia. I think her curiosity gets about, she's not too curious about the Hollow.
Is there a particular kind of Elysia spot that you're heading to?
I think she remembers that Cav got helped by the Elysia, correct? At one point, and also they are particularly, like, magically attuned.
Okay.
So I think she's going to start off at the what's our new the golden
The gold pot.
The gold pot. I think she's probably going to start off at the gold pot.
Okay.
And kind of ask around.
In which case, you, like, as you go to start your downtime, you head to the gold pot, and as you're kind of walking along, your direct, unfettered exposure to the spirits has kind of got you really interested in the idea that you can sort of, like, you feel like using your innate magical abilities, you could potentially, like, reach out and almost control the ghosts. You could compel them to do things. And, like, it's like, I can only imagine that Atta is giddy with excitement at the possibility that you can make the ghosts be your friends now.
I've always wanted a friend that's a ghost. Ever since Bubble.
And these thoughts are kind of going through your head, and as you just sort of, like, listlessly, like, move through the crowds of Celestry, sort of like the dancing revelers, you can see like the acrobats swinging from the petrified tree at the center of the Silk Square. You're just oblivious to sort of, like, the fire breathers and the like the street workers and like the street lurkers, I should say. Until you arrive, you find yourself kind of immersed in the scented smokes of this back room in the gold pot that you've been in a couple of times before. The conversation with the soothsayer that Kavrin had kind of recommended to you is also a bit of a blur, just as your mind races with the possibilities. And as you're kind of laid down on this bed for this Majani woman to begin like her services on you, and sort of like the low candlelight reflecting off the gold coins hanging from the strip of, like, the gold chain that goes from her horn to her ear, covering kind of one eye. You don't know what it is she's doing, but you suddenly feel yourself begin to relax, which in itself is at odds with your racing mind. And as you feel like you're kind of floating in this sea of scented smoke, you begin to picture a face. And it's a contorted, ugly face. It's a screaming face. And as you, like, the Majani woman watches you as your brow naturally furrows, and the screaming face turns to look at you with hollow eyes, a seemingly bottomless pit for a mouth. And as this face looms closer and closer towards you, the rest of its body seemingly comes into focus. You see straggly dark hair pulled back tight into this messy bun. And as the arms reach out to you, and as the arms kind of grow from the fingers back, they conjoin in the middle beneath the spectre's face with a red and yellow tabard. And as the creature gets face to face with you and lets out a horrendous scream, your eyes open wide as the Majani woman herself lets out a cry and throws herself back, knocking over bottles of sort of like hot heated oils which smash on the floor. And as you open your eyes, the spirit of the woman that died as a result of your lightning lure outside Amringer's manifests. You watch as this spirit just forms fully in front of you. And the Majani woman starts panicking and, what is this? How? But the veil! And the spirit reaches for you with two hands. Atta, what do you do?
Reaches for me like you're in the strangling motion that you were just making?
Fundamentally, yeah.
Not a here's an ice cream.
Nope, looking to cup your head, and you immediately flash back to thoughts of when you were attacked in the hollow lair. That the screaming and the screaming spirit of this shield bearer is seemingly trying to choke the life out of you. It's tempting to kill you. What do you do?
Gosh, I think Atta probably in like a split moment between peeing themselves and needing to do something about this, probably overbalances on the table and maybe kind of falls to the floor, scrambles backwards, but can't really escape. Is breathing incredibly fast. Probably tries to throw, like she knows that it's not going to do anything, but picks up the nearest something and kind of lobs it at this ghost, and it does nothing. And I think in this moment, I think she genuinely thinks she's that's it, she's gonna die. And then she thinks of a little bit at how much stronger she views everybody else in the crew versus her. Like, everyone has a level of like confidence and certainty with like who they are in the world, and Atta doesn't feel like she has much of that. She's bumbling around and doesn't quite fit, or fits oddly, like, you know, a weird puzzle piece. And I think she thinks of her grandma and how grandma didn't really fit. She's still scared and she wants to see grandma, but not yet. And I think she tries to stand up and she almost like physically pushes back at this ghost. She's like, I have to stop playing around and get with it. And she is gonna try and command, I guess, the ghost. She's gonna try and
compel it.
Yeah, compel it.
Okay. So you can attune to the ghost field to force a nearby ghost to appear and obey a command you give it. So, in this moment, I'm going to start you on a desperate standard. Standard because you are specifically kind of prepared for an eventuality like this being a whisper, but desperate because a scrabble with a ghost in such confined quarters is extremely dangerous. So, you'd be at 2 dice because of your soul drain.
Mm-hmm. -1 dice. There we go.
So as the sounds of this shield bearer's ghost, like the wail that comes from its mouth mixes with the panic screams of the Majani woman that's sort of like fallen to the floor and is scrabbling away as best as she can, like her jewelry like jingling frantically as she under her erratic movements. Is there anything you want to do or can do to boost this? Any like loadout items that you procure from your back pocket?
The only thing, I don't think that I can boost. I don't think that there's anything I can do to boost this.
Could I help?
Yes.
Because obviously Catherine has given the directions of where to go and see this woman. I think he is going to inquire on why she needs to go.
Okay.
Does Atta explain why she wants to go?
I think so. I think she maybe doesn't give details about what happened at the Hollow, but she has seemed like sheepish and a little less like carefree since being soul drained at the Hollow. Like her certainty has been kind of shaken that she's anyway. So she wants to go and get checked out.
I think Catherine's going to notice that she's looking a little less green than usual.
Sure. Sure.
He's gonna, after he sort of gives this information and he hears what the reason why Atta wants to go, I think he's gonna sort of kneel down to her height. And I know I didn't get a chance to say this, but I'm sorry that I shouted at you that one time about, letting in a ghost. I think we were all a little bit sort of stressed out. I don't think this crew would really be what it is without you. So, just look after yourself, okay?
Thanks, Kev.
After giving Atta the pep talk, and it sounds like it was your recommendation for the soothsayer anyway. Presumably, I'm guessing we're flashbacking to Cavern actually tailing Atta through the streets of Celestry to the gold pot.
I mean, I would probably be heading that way anyway.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
In which case, Atta, as you fix your gaze on this undead shield bearer as it kind of launches itself at you, and like in your heart what you need to do right now, the door to this back room bursts open, and stood in the doorway is Cavern. Cavern, you can mark a stress to help.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an extra dice or extra effect. Errol, what would you prefer?
I would love to remove the minus so that I roll 3 dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try and roll 3 dice.
In which case, as you boost back up to 3, Cavern, your memories assault you as they flash back to the Amringer job, and the wail that's coming out of this spirit's mouth is identical to the screams of the woman's last screams as her soul was devoured by the spirit. And as you feel, suddenly your head goes light as you see this thing kind of floating across the room towards Atta. Please roll me 3 dice, desperate standard, in an attempt to compel the ghost. Okay. What is the command you're giving it?
I think. Okay, so if Atta thinks this is going to succeed, so I think Atta would have tried to have done is she likely carries all of these kinds of trinkets on her, and I think she brought her bag, and I think that there was likely a ghost bottle in there, and I think in that moment she would have reached for a ghost bottle, and the command would have been get in. The ghost bottle. However, the command get in is interpreted.
Well, as you produce this orb and you sort of command the spirit to get in, you see this sort of this figure react as if it's looks up to you as if suddenly it's seeing you for the first time. And there's a look of confusion across the woman's face, and then the confusion turns into a look of panic, and suddenly the visage of fury that was etched upon her face turns to one of panic, and it looks like she's trying to scrabble away from you, but you watch as this spirit is drawn towards you and begins puts a hand out. As it touches the side of the orb, the hand seemingly slips inside the glass, and you watch as she's just reeled in to the orb. And Cavern, you watch as the spirit, as she's being drawn in, turns to you and reaches a hand out, and it's a hand. It's a hand and a face desperately asking for help. And you watch as the shield bearer is absorbed into the orb. And as she the screaming stops as the face disappears in, and you just see the outstretched arm, disappear last of all. And the room goes quiet, except for the sobbing crying of the Majani woman in the corner. And Atta, your face is illuminated by the soft glow that's now emanating from this ghost orb. And as a serious complication, the gold pot has to close.
No!
For the rest of the night, as the watch investigates. And the building is cordoned off because there are rumours that there was a materialised ghost within the building. And as Atta, as you stand there with this orb and Cavern, you realise you relax your grip that you had on the door frame as this ghost is now gone. And as you peer at each other across the table, I think we'll call it there and have a quick break.
Blimey. Oh, blimey.
Entanglements, yo. So, if you want to, if you enjoyed that, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below. I don't know, we never figured out a name for that poor shield bearer, so pop your names for that shield bearer that's now been pokeballed in the comments. And if you want some really chill and relaxed downtime activities, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon for notifications when the next episode comes up, because that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be nice and chill, everyone's going to be super relaxed. It's going to be great. Yeah? Yeah, cool. Right, well, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in a bit.
Bye.
Yeah.